Imagine a relentless neighbor who keeps running over your driveway lights, pushing you to the brink, until you fight back with industrial-grade reinforcements that deliver a dose of karma she never saw coming. Curious how it all unfolded? Buckle up for a tale of persistence, payback, and a battle that lit up the entire neighborhood. Welcome to the Beaver's Den channel. Before starting, please hit the like button and subscribe so we can continue making stories like this. It began as a seemingly minor annoyance, but quickly escalated into a full-blown feud. Living in an HOA-governed neighborhood often means abiding by strict rules and regulations, but it also brings challenges when certain residents believe they hold authority over others. In this case, the conflict ignited over something as simple as driveway lights, decorative yet functional fixtures designed to guide vehicles and pedestrians at night. The homeowner installed these lights to enhance safety and aesthetics, ensuring they aligned with the HOA's regulations regarding exterior decorations. Despite their compliance, one neighbor, referred to as Karen due to her entitled and confrontational behavior, decided that these lights were a nuisance. The first incident occurred shortly after the lights were installed. Karen, either accidentally or deliberately, drove over the edge of the driveway, crushing several of the newly placed lights. Assuming it was a one-time mistake, the homeowner replaced the damaged lights and thought little of it. However, the issue repeated itself multiple times, raising suspicions that Karen's actions were intentional. Each instance required replacing the broken lights, adding both financial strain and frustration. Attempts to address the matter directly were met with dismissive responses, with Karen insisting she had the right to drive as she pleased within the neighborhood. This refusal to acknowledge any wrongdoing only fueled tensions further. As the incidents continued, the homeowner sought assistance from the HOA, hoping they would intervene and prevent further damage. Unfortunately, the HOA's response was less than satisfactory. Bound by their own bureaucracy and often reluctant to confront difficult residents, they provided little more than vague reassurances that they would look into it. Meanwhile, Karen's behavior persisted, seemingly emboldened by the HOA's lack of action. The homeowner began documenting each occurrence, capturing photos of the damaged lights and noting the dates and times of each incident. This evidence was presented to the HOA in hopes of prompting a more decisive response. Despite the clear pattern of behavior, the HOA remained reluctant to take meaningful action, citing the difficulty of proving intentional misconduct. Frustrated by the lack of accountability, the homeowner explored alternative solutions. Simply replacing the lights was no longer viable, both financially and emotionally. The repeated cycle of damage and replacement had become unsustainable. The homeowner began researching more durable options, determined to put an end to the ongoing harassment. This search led to the discovery of industrial-grade driveway lights, designed to withstand significant pressure and impact without breaking. Unlike standard decorative lights, these heavy-duty versions were built to endure harsh conditions, making them virtually indestructible under normal circumstances. Though more expensive than regular lights, the investment promised long-term durability and the satisfaction of outsmarting Karen's destructive behavior. Installing the industrial-grade lights required careful planning. The homeowner ensured they were securely embedded along the driveway's edge, with reinforced bases designed to resist both direct impacts and attempts to dislodge them. The installation process was meticulous, aimed at creating a permanent solution that would withstand any future attempts at destruction. With the new lights in place, the homeowner waited to see how Karen would react. True to form, it didn't take long for her to test the limits of the new setup. However, this time, the outcome was different. Instead of shattered lights, Karen's vehicle encountered an immovable obstacle, one that left her with unexpected damage of her own. The aftermath of this encounter marked a turning point in the feud. Karen, unaccustomed to facing consequences for her actions, was outraged. She immediately contacted the HOA, claiming that the homeowner had installed dangerous fixtures designed to damage vehicles. Predictably, the HOA once again became involved, this time with renewed scrutiny directed at the homeowner. However, armed with extensive documentation and proof that the lights complied with all regulations, the homeowner was prepared to defend their actions. The industrial-grade lights, while undeniably robust, were still within the HOA's guidelines regarding exterior fixtures. Moreover, their purpose was purely defensive, to prevent further damage and ensure the safety of the property's perimeter. In the ensuing discussions, the homeowner presented their case with confidence, emphasizing the repeated incidents of vandalism and the lack of support from the HOA. The evidence was irrefutable, leaving the HOA with little choice but to acknowledge the homeowner's right to protect their property. Though Karen continued to protest, her complaints carried less weight now that her actions had resulted in consequences beyond mere inconvenience. The industrial-grade lights had not only resolved the immediate problem, but had also sent a clear message. Deliberate damage would no longer be tolerated without repercussions. This escalation transformed what began as a petty nuisance into a battle of principles. The homeowners' determination to stand their ground not only protected their property, but also highlighted the broader issues of accountability and fairness within HOA communities. The confrontation with Karen served as a catalyst for addressing the limits of authority and the importance of enforcing rules equitably. By refusing to be intimidated, the homeowner demonstrated the power of persistence and strategic problem-solving, setting a precedent for other residents facing similar challenges. Living within a homeowners association, HOA, brings both benefits and challenges. While HOAs are established to maintain neighborhood standards and property values, their rules and enforcement processes can often become sources of tension, especially when disputes arise between residents. In this ongoing conflict over driveway lights, the homeowner found themselves not only battling Karen's repeated acts of vandalism, but also navigating the complex bureaucracy of the HOA. This section delves into the intricacies of dealing with HOA regulations, the challenges of seeking fair enforcement, and the broader implications for property rights within such communities. The homeowner's initial attempts to address the issue through the HOA were met with frustration. When the first few incidents of damaged driveway lights occurred, the homeowner reached out to the HOA board, expecting swift action. After all, one of the primary functions of an HOA is to ensure that residents respect each other's property and adhere to community guidelines. However, the reality proved far more complicated. The HOA board, composed of volunteer residents, often struggled to enforce rules consistently, especially when dealing with subjective disputes. Moreover, some board members were hesitant to confront neighbors directly, fearing social repercussions or accusations of bias. Upon filing the first complaint, the homeowner received a standard response. The issue would be reviewed and appropriate action would be taken if necessary. Weeks passed with no follow-up, and the incidents continued. Each time Karen ran over the driveway lights, the homeowner documented the damage and submitted additional complaints, only to receive similarly vague responses. The lack of accountability was infuriating. It became clear that the HOA's slow response was not due to oversight, but rather a reluctance to get involved in what they perceived as a personal conflict between neighbors. This passive approach left the homeowner feeling vulnerable, with no effective means of preventing further damage. Determined to escalate the matter, the homeowner began studying the HOA's governing documents, including the covenants, conditions, and restrictions, CRs, bylaws, and community guidelines. These documents outlined the rules that all residents were required to follow, as well as the procedures for addressing violations. The homeowner noted that while there were strict regulations regarding exterior modifications, there were also provisions protecting property owners from harassment and vandalism. Armed with this knowledge, the homeowner drafted a formal complaint, citing specific clauses that Karen had violated and requesting that the HOA enforce its rules. Submitting the formal complaint triggered a more structured process. The HOA board was required to investigate the allegations and determine whether Karen's actions constituted a violation of community standards. However, the investigation process was anything but transparent. The board conducted private meetings to discuss the complaint, with little communication to the homeowner regarding the status of the case. Frustrated by the lack of progress, The homeowner attended the next HOA board meeting to voice their concerns directly. Standing before the board and fellow residents, the homeowner described the repeated incidents of vandalism, presented photographic evidence, and emphasized the financial and emotional toll of replacing the damaged lights. The public nature of the meeting added a new layer of pressure. With other residents now aware of the situation, the HOA could no longer dismiss the complaint without risking backlash. Yet, some board members remained hesitant to take decisive action against Karen, citing the difficulty of proving intentional misconduct. This reluctance highlighted a common issue within HOAs, the challenge of balancing enforcement with maintaining a sense of community. Many board members were wary of creating animosity among neighbors, leading them to favor conflict avoidance over strict rule enforcement. Unfortunately, this approach often left victims of rule violations feeling unsupported. Recognizing that the HOA's hesitation stemmed partly from a lack of clear evidence, the homeowner took additional steps to document future incidents. They installed security cameras facing the driveway, ensuring that any further damage would be captured on video. This proactive measure not only provided undeniable proof of Karen's actions, but also served as a deterrent. However, the homeowner knew that surveillance alone would not solve the problem. Lasting resolution required holding both Karen and the HOA accountable. To that end, the homeowner consulted with a legal professional specializing in property rights and HOA disputes. The attorney confirmed that the homeowner had a strong case, both for vandalism and for the HOA's failure to enforce its rules. Armed with legal support, the homeowner sent a formal letter to the HOA board, outlining their legal obligations to enforce community standards and protect residents' property. The letter cited relevant provisions from the governing documents and state property laws, emphasizing that the board's inaction could result in legal liability. This threat of legal action served as a wake-up call. Faced with the possibility of a lawsuit, the HOA board convened an emergency meeting to address the situation. During this meeting, the board reviewed the evidence, including security camera footage showing Karen deliberately driving over the driveway lights. Confronted with irrefutable proof, the HOA had no choice but to issue a formal violation notice to Karen. The notice cited her repeated acts of vandalism and warned that further incidents would result in escalating fines and potential legal action. While this marked a significant victory for the homeowner, the conflict was far from over. Karen responded by filing her own complaint against the homeowner, accusing them of installing hazardous fixtures designed to damage vehicles. She claimed that the industrial-grade lights posed a safety risk and violated the community's aesthetic standards. This countercomplaint forced the HOA to revisit the issue, once again placing the homeowner in the position of defending their actions. Determined to prove their compliance, the homeowner meticulously documented every aspect of the industrial-grade lights installation. They provided receipts, product specifications, and photographs demonstrating that the lights were both aesthetically pleasing and securely embedded within the driveway's boundary. Moreover, the homeowner emphasized that the lights complied with all relevant guidelines, including height restrictions, spacing requirements, and illumination levels. By presenting this comprehensive documentation, the homeowner demonstrated that their installation was both legal and reasonable, undermining Karen's claims of hazardous design. The HOA's review committee conducted an on-site inspection, verifying that the lights adhered to community standards and posed no safety risks. Their findings supported the homeowner's position, leading the board to dismiss Karen's complaint. This decision marked a turning point in the conflict. With both the evidence of vandalism and the confirmation of compliance, the homeowner had successfully defended their property rights while holding Karen accountable for her actions. The HOA, now fully aware of the legal and reputational risks of inaction, implemented stricter enforcement measures to prevent future incidents. They also revised their complaint process, introducing clearer timelines and communication protocols to ensure that residents received timely responses to their concerns. The resolution of this dispute had broader implications for the community as a whole. By standing up to both Karen and the HOA, the homeowner set a precedent for holding both individuals and governing bodies accountable for their actions. The case highlighted the importance of knowing one's rights, documenting evidence, and seeking legal support when necessary. Moreover, it demonstrated that persistence and strategic problem-solving could overcome even the most entrenched bureaucratic obstacles. As word of the homeowner's success spread throughout the neighborhood, other residents began to feel empowered to address their own grievances, leading to a more transparent and responsive HOA. In the end, the conflict over driveway lights became more than just a dispute between neighbors. It became a catalyst for broader change within the community. The homeowner's determination not only protected their property, but also helped create a fairer and more accountable governance system for all residents. While the feud with Karen may have started over something as simple as decorative lights, its resolution reaffirmed the fundamental principle that property owners have the right to defend their homes and belongings against both individual misconduct and institutional neglect. After enduring repeated incidents of vandalism and navigating the HOA's bureaucratic maze, the homeowner realized that replacing standard driveway lights was no longer a sustainable solution. Each act of destruction not only caused financial strain, but also became a symbol of Karen's persistent disregard for property boundaries. Determined to put an end to the harassment once and for all, the homeowner decided to upgrade to industrial-grade driveway lights, fixtures designed to withstand substantial impact and provide long-lasting durability. This decision marked the turning point in the conflict, transforming the homeowner from a victim into a proactive defender of their property rights. The search for the perfect industrial-grade lights was extensive. The homeowner researched various options, focusing on products designed for commercial and industrial use. Unlike standard decorative lights, these heavy-duty models were built to endure harsh weather conditions, vehicle impact, and prolonged wear and tear. Key features included reinforced casings, impact-resistant materials, and secure mounting systems that made them nearly impossible to dislodge or break. The homeowner carefully compared specifications, seeking a balance between durability, aesthetics, and compliance with HOA regulations. After thorough consideration, they selected a model commonly used in commercial parking lots and driveways, fixtures specifically designed to guide vehicles while withstanding heavy traffic. Installing the new lights required meticulous planning. The homeowner wanted to ensure that the lights were both functional and visually appealing, maintaining the property's curb appeal while maximizing durability. To achieve this, they opted for lights with a sleek, low-profile design that blended seamlessly with the driveway's edge. Each fixture was embedded securely into the ground, with reinforced bases anchored deep into the soil to prevent displacement. The installation process involved digging trenches along the driveway's perimeter, carefully placing the lights at evenly spaced intervals, and securing them with heavy-duty concrete footings. This level of reinforcement ensured that the lights would remain intact, even if driven over repeatedly. Beyond physical durability, the homeowner also considered lighting performance. The new fixtures featured energy-efficient LED bulbs with a soft, warm glow that enhanced nighttime visibility without creating harsh glare. This choice not only improved safety for vehicles and pedestrians, but also aligned with the HOA's guidelines regarding exterior lighting. To further demonstrate compliance, the homeowner documented every step of the installation process, including measurements, product specifications, and photos of the finished setup. This proactive approach ensured that they could provide clear evidence of adherence to community standards if challenged. With the industrial-grade lights in place, the homeowner waited to see how Karen would respond. It didn't take long for the next incident to occur. One evening, security cameras captured Karen's vehicle veering onto the edge of the driveway, as she had done countless times before. However, this time, the outcome was dramatically different. Instead of shattering, the impact-resistant lights held firm, while Karen's vehicle sustained noticeable damage. The sound of scraping metal and a sharp jolt to the wheel well made it clear that she had underestimated the strength of the new fixtures. Shocked and frustrated, Karen drove off, unaware that her actions had been recorded on video. The following morning, Karen appeared at the homeowner's doorstep, demanding that the lights be removed. She claimed that the fixtures were dangerous and accused the homeowner of installing them specifically to damage her vehicle. Calmly and confidently, the homeowner explained that the lights were fully compliant with HOA regulations and designed solely to enhance safety and property aesthetics. They presented the documentation, proving that the fixtures were legally installed and posed no risk to vehicles driven within the proper boundaries of the driveway. When Karen threatened to report the lights to the HOA, the homeowner welcomed her to do so, knowing that they had already taken every precaution to ensure compliance. Predictably, Karen filed a formal complaint with the HOA, alleging that the industrial-grade lights were hazardous and intentionally placed to cause damage. This time, however, the homeowner was prepared. They submitted comprehensive documentation, including product specifications, installation photos, and a detailed explanation of the fixture's purpose. Additionally, they provided video evidence of Karen's repeated trespassing and deliberate attempts to drive over the lights. The security footage clearly showed that the homeowner had not altered the driveway's layout in any way. The lights were installed within the property's legal boundaries, and Karen's vehicle had only sustained damage because she had driven outside the designated roadway. Faced with this irrefutable evidence, the HOA had no choice but to rule in the homeowner's favor. The board concluded that the lights were both compliant and necessary, given the repeated incidents of vandalism. Karen's complaint was dismissed, and she was formally warned that any further damage to the homeowner's property would result in fines and potential legal action. This decision marked a decisive victory for the homeowner, who had not only protected their property, but also established their right to defend it against harassment. The installation of industrial-grade lights had an immediate and lasting impact on the neighborhood dynamic. With Karen no longer able to damage the driveway lights without consequences, her attempts at intimidation ceased. The homeowner could finally enjoy their property without the constant threat of vandalism, restoring a sense of peace and security. Moreover, the visible presence of the durable fixtures sent a clear message to the entire community. Acts of property damage would not be tolerated, and homeowners had the right to protect their investments. Beyond resolving the immediate conflict, the experience had broader implications for the homeowner's sense of empowerment. By taking proactive measures to defend their property, they had shifted the power dynamic from one of victimhood to one of control. The decision to install industrial-grade lights was not merely about preventing damage, it was a statement of resilience and self-reliance. The homeowner had demonstrated that it was possible to stand up to both individual bullies and bureaucratic inertia, setting an example for others facing similar challenges. In the weeks following the HOA's ruling, word of the incident spread throughout the neighborhood. Other residents, inspired by the homeowner's success, began exploring ways to safeguard their properties against similar acts of vandalism. Some installed security cameras, while others upgraded their outdoor fixtures to more durable models. This collective shift toward proactive property protection created a ripple effect, fostering a culture of accountability and mutual respect within the community. The HOA, aware of the increased scrutiny from residents, also began enforcing its rules more consistently, leading to a noticeable improvement in overall neighborhood harmony. For the homeowner, the installation of industrial-grade lights was more than just a practical solution. It was a symbol of victory over adversity. What had started as a series of frustrating and costly incidents had ultimately strengthened their resolve and sense of ownership. The conflict with Karen, while stressful, had taught valuable lessons about standing up for one's rights, navigating bureaucratic challenges, and finding creative solutions to persistent problems. In the end, the industrial-grade lights not only illuminated the driveway, they illuminated the homeowner's path to empowerment, proving that even the most stubborn obstacles can be overcome with determination and strategic thinking. With the installation of industrial-grade driveway lights successfully thwarting Karen's repeated acts of vandalism, the homeowner found themselves at a pivotal moment. Although the immediate threat to their property had been resolved, the underlying issues of harassment and inadequate HOA enforcement still lingered. Determined to secure long-term justice and prevent future incidents, the homeowner decided to pursue legal action against both Karen and the HOA. This phase of the conflict not only reinforced their right to protect their property, but also highlighted the broader legal implications of living within an HOA-governed community. The first step in this legal journey was to hold Karen accountable for the financial and emotional damages caused by her repeated vandalism. Over the course of several months, the homeowner had incurred substantial expenses replacing broken driveway lights and upgrading to industrial-grade fixtures. Additionally, the stress and frustration of dealing with repeated property damage had taken a toll on their mental well-being. With security camera footage providing clear evidence of Karen's actions, the homeowner's attorney filed a civil lawsuit seeking compensation for property damage, emotional distress, and legal fees. The lawsuit outlined a pattern of intentional misconduct, supported by photographic evidence and video recordings that captured multiple incidents of Karen driving over the lights. Each piece of evidence was meticulously documented, creating a compelling case that left little room for denial. The legal filing emphasized that Karen's actions were not isolated accidents, but deliberate attempts to damage the homeowner's property, constituting both vandalism and harassment. By presenting this evidence in court, the homeowner aimed to not only recover their financial losses, but also send a clear message that such behavior would not be tolerated. Karen's defense relied on the argument that the industrial-grade lights were hazardous and intentionally installed to cause damage to vehicles. However, the homeowner's meticulous documentation and compliance with HOA regulations undermined this claim. Installation photos, product specifications, and the HOA's official inspection report all confirmed that the lights were both legal and safe. Furthermore, the video footage showed that Karen had to drive outside the designated roadway to make contact with the lights, proving that the damage to her vehicle was a result of her own actions rather than any inherent danger posed by the fixtures. During the court proceedings, the homeowner's attorney emphasized the broader implications of Karen's behavior. Beyond the financial impact, her actions had created a hostile living environment, violating the homeowner's right to enjoy their property without fear of harassment. The legal argument centered on the concept of nuisance and intentional infliction of emotional distress, both of which are recognized grounds for civil liability. By framing the case in these terms, the attorney highlighted the need for accountability and the importance of deterring similar behavior in the future. After reviewing the evidence, the court ruled in favor of the homeowner. Karen was ordered to pay restitution for the cost of replacing the damaged lights, as well as additional damages for emotional distress and legal fees. This legal victory not only provided financial compensation, but also validated the homeowner's decision to stand up for their rights. The court's ruling served as a formal acknowledgement that Karen's actions were both unlawful and unacceptable, reinforcing the principle that property owners have the right to protect their homes from intentional harm. With the case against Karen successfully concluded, the homeowner turned their attention to the HOA's role in the conflict. Despite repeated complaints and clear evidence of vandalism, the HOA had failed to take timely and effective action to address the situation. This lack of enforcement had allowed Karen's behavior to escalate, causing prolonged stress and financial hardship for the homeowner. Recognizing that this failure represented a breach of the HOA's duties, the homeowner's attorney prepared a legal demand letter holding the HOA accountable for its inaction. The demand letter cited specific provisions from the HOA's governing documents, which outlined the board's responsibility to enforce community rules and protect residents' property. It emphasized that the HOA's repeated failure to address Karen's misconduct constituted negligence and a breach of its contractual obligations to homeowners. The letter demanded both financial compensation for the homeowner's legal expenses and a formal commitment to improving the HOA's enforcement practices. It also warned that if the HOA did not take corrective action, the homeowner would pursue further legal remedies. Faced with the threat of legal action and the potential for negative publicity, the HOA board convened an emergency meeting to address the situation. During the meeting, the board acknowledged its failure to respond effectively to the homeowner's complaints and expressed a commitment to preventing similar incidents in the future. As part of its response, the HOA agreed to reimburse the homeowner for a portion of their legal fees and implement new procedures for handling complaints. These measures included stricter enforcement timelines, improved communication protocols, and mandatory training for board members on conflict resolution and legal compliance. In addition to these internal changes, the HOA issued a formal warning to Karen, outlining the consequences of any future violations. The warning emphasized that further acts of vandalism or harassment would result in escalating fines and potential legal action, including eviction if necessary. This proactive stance sent a clear message to all residents that the HOA was committed to upholding community standards and protecting property rights. By holding both Karen and the HOA accountable, the homeowner had not only secured justice for themselves, but also helped create a safer and more respectful living environment for the entire neighborhood. The legal resolution of the conflict had a lasting impact on the community, with clear consequences established for both individual misconduct and HOA negligence. Residents felt more confident in their ability to address disputes and protect their properties. The HOA's renewed focus on enforcement helped foster a culture of accountability, reducing instances of rule violations and improving overall neighborhood harmony. Moreover, the homeowner's willingness to pursue legal action served as a powerful example of the importance of standing up for one's rights, inspiring other residents to advocate for fair treatment and transparent governance. On a personal level, the homeowner experienced a profound sense of empowerment and closure. What had begun as a frustrating and demoralizing ordeal had ultimately strengthened their resolve and reaffirmed their right to defend their home. The successful legal outcomes against both Karen and the HOA validated their perseverance, proving that it was possible to overcome even the most entrenched obstacles through determination and strategic action. The experience also deepened their understanding of property law and HOA governance, equipping them with the knowledge and confidence to navigate future challenges. Reflecting on the entire journey, the homeowner recognized that the conflict had ultimately led to positive change. By holding both an individual neighbor and a governing body accountable, they had helped establish a precedent for fairness and accountability within the community. The installation of industrial-grade lights had not only protected their property, but also symbolized their refusal to be intimidated or silenced. In the end, the homeowner's unwavering determination had transformed a seemingly trivial dispute into a catalyst for lasting justice and improved community relations. The resolution of the conflict involving HOA Karen and the industrial-grade driveway lights marked not only a personal victory for the homeowner, but also a significant shift in the broader community dynamic. What began as a frustrating series of property damages had evolved into a pivotal moment that reshaped how the neighborhood approached property rights, accountability, and HOA governance. This final key point explores the long-term lessons learned, the lasting impact on the community, and how the homeowner's determination created a legacy of empowerment and respect within the neighborhood. One of the most important lessons to emerge from the ordeal was the importance of standing up for one's rights, even in the face of persistent opposition. Throughout the conflict, the homeowner had faced numerous challenges, from repeated acts of vandalism to the HOA's slow and often reluctant response. Yet, by documenting every incident, researching their legal options, and taking proactive measures to protect their property, they demonstrated the power of persistence and strategic thinking. The successful legal outcomes against both Karen and the HOA validated their approach, proving that property owners could assert their rights and hold both individuals and governing bodies accountable. Equally significant was the homeowner's decision to install industrial-grade driveway lights, a practical solution that ultimately became a symbol of their resilience. The lights not only prevented further damage, but also sent a clear message that harassment and property destruction would not be tolerated. This act of defiance transformed the homeowner from a passive victim into a proactive defender of their property, empowering them to reclaim their sense of security and control. Moreover, the lights themselves became a visible reminder of the importance of standing one's ground, serving as both a deterrent to future misconduct and a testament to the homeowner's determination. The impact of this victory extended beyond the homeowner's property, influencing the entire neighborhood in profound ways. Word of the conflict and its resolution spread quickly, sparking conversations among residents about property rights, HOA governance, and the importance of holding both individuals and boards accountable. For many homeowners, the case served as a wake-up call, highlighting the need to be informed about their rights and proactive in protecting their properties. As a result, more residents began installing security cameras, upgrading their outdoor fixtures, and advocating for stronger enforcement of community rules. This collective shift toward greater accountability helped create a safer, more respectful living environment where property boundaries were respected and acts of vandalism were no longer overlooked. The HOA, too, underwent significant changes in the wake of the conflict. Faced with the threat of legal action and the scrutiny of an increasingly vocal community, the board recognized the need to improve its enforcement practices and communication protocols. New procedures were implemented to ensure that complaints were addressed more promptly and transparently, with clear timelines and regular updates provided to residents. Board members received additional training on conflict resolution, legal compliance, and the importance of impartial enforcement, reducing instances of favoritism and inconsistent rule application. These reforms not only enhanced the HOA's credibility, but also fostered greater trust and cooperation within the community. For the homeowner, the experience had a profound impact on their sense of empowerment and belonging. What had initially seemed like an unwinnable battle against both a difficult neighbor and an unresponsive HOA had ultimately strengthened their confidence and resilience. The knowledge that they had successfully defended their property rights and helped improve the community as a whole provided a lasting sense of pride and accomplishment. Moreover, the relationships they had built with other residents during the conflict fostered a greater sense of community and mutual support, reinforcing the idea that collective action could bring about meaningful change. In reflecting on their journey, the homeowner identified several key takeaways that could benefit others facing similar challenges. First and foremost was the importance of documentation. Carefully recording each incident of vandalism, gathering photographic and video evidence, and maintaining detailed records of all communications with the HOA and legal representatives. This meticulous approach not only strengthened their legal case, but also provided a clear and compelling narrative that made it difficult for either Karen or the HOA to deny responsibility. Equally crucial was the homeowner's willingness to seek legal support when it became clear that the HOA's internal processes were insufficient. Consulting with an attorney specializing in property rights and HOA disputes provided the guidance and expertise needed to navigate the complexities of both civil litigation and community governance. By leveraging this legal knowledge, the homeowner was able to hold both Karen and the HOA accountable, securing not only financial compensation, but also long-term changes that benefited the entire community. Another important lesson was the value of proactive problem solving. Rather than simply replacing the damaged lights each time they were vandalized, the homeowner took the initiative to find a more durable solution: industrial-grade lights that could withstand repeated impact. This decision not only prevented further damage, but also shifted the power dynamic, making it clear that attempts to intimidate or harass them would no longer be effective. This proactive mindset, combined with strategic legal action, ultimately turned the tide of the conflict, transforming the homeowner from a victim into a catalyst for positive change. Beyond the practical lessons learned, the experience also highlighted broader issues related to HOA governance and the balance of power within such communities. While HOAs play an important role in maintaining property values and community standards, Their effectiveness often depends on the willingness of board members to enforce rules fairly and consistently. The homeowner's case exposed the dangers of passive enforcement and selective rule application, demonstrating the need for greater transparency, accountability, and resident involvement. By advocating for these changes, the homeowner helped create a more responsive and equitable governance structure, ensuring that future residents would not have to endure similar challenges. As time passed, the homeowner's victory became a defining moment in the community's history, a reminder that individuals could make a difference by standing up for their rights and holding both neighbors and governing bodies accountable. The industrial-grade driveway lights, once a source of conflict, became a symbol of resilience and empowerment, inspiring other residents to take pride in their properties and advocate for fair treatment. The HOA's improved enforcement practices and stronger communication protocols helped foster a more harmonious living environment where disputes were resolved more swiftly and fairly. For the homeowner, the experience ultimately transformed their relationship with both their property and their community. What had begun as a frustrating and demoralizing ordeal had become a journey of empowerment, leading to personal growth, legal victories, and lasting improvements that benefited the entire neighborhood. The lessons learned about the importance of documentation, legal knowledge, proactive problem solving, and community advocacy would continue to guide them in future challenges, serving as a foundation for both personal success and collective progress. In the end, the conflict with HOA Karen and the battle over driveway lights was about more than just property damage. It was about asserting one's right to live without fear of harassment, holding governing bodies accountable, and creating a community where fairness and respect prevailed. Through determination, strategic action, and unwavering resolve, the homeowner not only protected their property, but also helped reshape their neighborhood for the better. Their story stands as a testament to the power of standing one's ground, proving that even the most stubborn obstacles can be overcome with courage, persistence, and the willingness to fight for what is right.